The morning sunlight cut through the blinds of my downtown apartment, casting sharp lines across the meticulously organized space that reflected everything about my life: precision, control, and an almost desperate need to prove myself. At 28, I, Alex Rodriguez, had built a successful career in software engineering, each line of code a testament to my determination to rise above the expectations, or lack thereof, that had defined my family's perception of me. Our family's dynamics were never subtle. From the earliest memories, I understood I was the afterthought, the child perpetually in the shadow of my older sister Sophia. While she received endless praise for her marriage, her children, her seemingly perfect life, I was the one constantly proving my worth through achievements that somehow never seemed enough. The Rodriguez household had always operated on an unspoken hierarchy. Sophia was the golden child, her every decision celebrated, her future carefully curated by our parents, Miguel and Elena. I was the practical one, the one expected to support from the sidelines, to be the reliable backup plan. My parents' voices would echo in my mind. Sophia needs this. Think about Sophia's family. We must help Sophia. It was a refrain so constant that I had learned to fade into the background, channeling my energy into my work, into building a life that was entirely my own. Little did I know that their latest plan would shatter the careful distance I had maintained. The property, a piece of land that represented more than just real estate, was about to become the catalyst that would expose the deep fractures in our family's foundation. I remember the day distinctly. My fingers hovered over my laptop, finalizing a major software contract that would seal a significant bonus. The financial freedom was intoxicating, a feeling I had cultivated meticulously over years of hard work. No family connections, no shortcuts, just pure, unadulterated personal achievement. But families have ways of keeping secrets, of weaving narratives that remain hidden until they're suddenly, devastatingly exposed. And our family? We were masters of the unspoken, of maintaining a veneer of unity while carefully managing expectations and opportunities. The land my grandparents had owned, a valuable piece of property that represented generations of hard work and sacrifice, was about to become the stage for a revelation that would change everything. A secret that had been brewing, waiting in the shadows, ready to burst into the light of day. I had no idea how profoundly my life was about to change. No idea that the carefully constructed walls I had built around myself were about to crumble, revealing a truth that would challenge everything I thought I knew about family, loyalty, and survival. The conversation drifted through the partially open kitchen door, catching me off guard as I was sorting through some family photos during a rare weekend visit. My mother's voice carried a mixture of excitement and conspiratorial whispers. "Miguel, this is perfect," Elena was saying. "The entire property will be Sophia's wedding gift. Her whole family can live there, generations secured." I froze, photo album half open in my hands. Wedding gift? The entire property? My father's deeper voice rumbled in response. "We've been planning this for years. Alex doesn't need to know. He's always been the independent one, always working. This is for Sophia's family." The words hit me like a physical blow. Always working, always independent. Translation: always disposable, always expendable. I realized then that this was more than just a property transfer. This was a calculated erasure of my place in the family narrative. The land that should have been a shared inheritance, a connection to our grandparents' legacy, was being stripped away from me without a single conversation. Memories flooded back. Every family gathering where I was subtly pushed to the margins. Every discussion about future plans where my name was an afterthought. The constant prioritization of Sophia's needs, her children, her life, while I was expected to be the supportive, silent background character. My hands were trembling now, the photo of our grandparents staring back at me. They had worked tirelessly to acquire that land, saving every peso, dreaming of a future where their children and grandchildren would have opportunities. And now, their legacy was being rewritten without my knowledge. I thought about the sacrifices I'd made, the late nights coding, the startup risks, the constant proving of my worth. While Sophia received family support, financial backing, unconditional love, I had been fighting my battles alone, always told I was strong enough, independent enough to not need help. But this was a betrayal that cut deeper than any professional challenge I'd ever faced. Sophia had no idea about this conversation. Or did she? Was she complicit in this family decision that effectively erased my inheritance, my connection to our family's history? The whispers continued. Detailed plans about renovations, about creating a multi-generational home for Sophia's growing family, my land, my history. Something hardened inside me in that moment. A resolve as sharp and unbreakable as the code I wrote. They might think I was just the quiet, independent one. They were about to learn how wrong they were. This wasn't just about a piece of land anymore. This was about respect, about recognition, about finally refusing to be the forgettable child in a family that had always taken me for granted. My mind was already racing, calculating. If they wanted a war, they would get one, and I would ensure it was a war fought on my terms. Strategic preparation became my religion. Every waking moment not consumed by my software engineering job was dedicated to unraveling the intricate web of my family's plans and constructing my own counteroffensive. I began by hiring Maria Ramirez, a shark of a real estate lawyer known for her ruthless precision. Our first meeting was a calculated dance of information and strategy. Spread across her conference room table were maps, property records, and genealogical documents tracing our family's land ownership. The property was technically inherited through your maternal grandparents, Maria explained, her manicured finger tracing a complex lineage. And there are interesting legal nuances here. The original deed suggests joint ownership, not exclusive transfer. My research revealed layers of complexity. The land wasn't just a simple gift to be handed over. There were tax implications, inheritance laws, and potential challenges that my parents had conveniently overlooked in their rush to secure Sophia's future. I leveraged every professional connection I'd built. My network in the tech world extended far beyond coding. These were strategic minds who understood the art of calculated moves, late-night calls, discreet meetings in coffee shops, each conversation adding another piece to my strategic puzzle. My financial advisor, Carlos, became an unexpected ally. "You've been saving meticulously for years," he told me, reviewing my investment portfolio. "Your financial independence gives you options they never expected." I began identifying potential properties in the same region as the family land, not as a replacement, but as a strategic countermove. Each potential purchase was analyzed with the same methodical approach I applied to complex software architectures: location, potential value, future development possibilities. Nothing was left to chance. The tech startup world had taught me that information was power. I compiled a comprehensive dossier on the property, tracing its history, understanding every legal nuance. Old survey maps, historical records, tax documents. I collected them with the same intensity I would debug a complex software system. My sister Sophia remained blissfully unaware. Family gatherings became an intricate performance. I smiled, engaged in small talk, all while internally calculating my next move. The years of being overlooked had transformed me into a master of subtle observation. Financial preparation was just one aspect. I needed to understand the emotional landscape. I started therapy, not for healing, but for strategic clarity. Dr. Elena Martinez helped me deconstruct years of familial manipulation, providing insights into the psychological terrain I was about to navigate. Revenge isn't just about the action, she told me during one session. It's about reclaiming your narrative. Each step was deliberate, each decision calculated. I was no longer the forgotten child waiting for acknowledgement. I was becoming the architect of my own justice. The tech world had taught me that disruption comes from those least expected. My family thought they knew me, the quiet, hard-working son who never made waves. They were about to learn that stillness was not weakness, but a calculated preparation for revolution. My plan was taking shape, precise, uncompromising, and absolutely devastating. The day of reckoning arrived on a crisp autumn Saturday. I had meticulously orchestrated every detail, ensuring maximum impact with surgical precision. My parents' annual family gathering was the perfect stage. Extended family would be present, aunts, uncles, cousins, witnesses to the drama about to unfold. Sophia and her husband Carlos arrived first, their 2 children trailing behind, clutching tablets and looking bored with family small talk. I entered the room with calculated calm, a manila folder tucked under my arm. The subtle rustle of documents seemed to create an immediate tension. My mother's eyes flickered with an instinctive unease she couldn't quite explain. "I have something to discuss," I announced, my voice steady and controlled. "A matter concerning our family property." The room fell silent. Generations of Rodriguez family dynamics hung in the air, a delicate ecosystem about to be violently disrupted. I spread the documents across the dining table. Property records, legal assessments, detailed financial analyses, each page a carefully crafted weapon. Maria Ramirez's expert legal work was evident in every meticulously prepared document. "For years," I began, "this family has operated under a specific narrative. A narrative that conveniently excluded me from inheritance discussions, from family planning, from any meaningful consideration." My father shifted uncomfortably. Sophia's husband, Carlos, looked bewildered. My mother's hands started to tremble almost imperceptibly. "The land our grandparents worked so hard to acquire," I continued, "was never meant to be a simple gift to be handed over without discussion. There are legal complexities you've chosen to ignore." I revealed my first strategic move. I had purchased an adjacent property, one that would significantly impact the value and potential development of the original family land. My tech industry connections and strategic investments had made this possible, a move they never saw coming. "Your plan to simply transfer the entire property to Sophia's family falls apart when you consider the complex legal inheritance structure," I explained, sliding specific documents toward my father. "Each of us has an equal claim. Your attempt to sideline me is not just morally questionable, it's legally problematic." Sophia finally spoke, her voice a mixture of confusion and defense. "Alex, what are you doing? This isn't like you." I turned to her, my gaze cold and calculating. "Exactly. This isn't like the Alex you've always known. The Alex who was content being invisible, being the background character in our family's story." My mother attempted to interject, her voice wavering. "Mijo, we can discuss this privately." "No," I interrupted. "This conversation happens here, now in front of everyone." I produced another set of documents. A comprehensive financial breakdown showing how their decades of favoritism had systematically marginalized my opportunities. Investment disparities, subtle financial support given to Sophia that was never extended to me, educational investments that showed a clear bias. The room was electric with tension. Aunts and uncles exchanged uncomfortable glances. Cousins looked shocked. This was more than a family dispute. This was a complete exposure of generational manipulation. "I'm not asking for your approval," I said, my voice cutting through the silence. "I'm telling you how things will be, equally, fairly." My revenge was not about destruction. It was about reclaiming my narrative, about forcing recognition of my worth. And I was just getting started. The silence that followed was nuclear. My father's face transformed, a landscape of shock, anger, and something deeper, shame. "You don't understand, family," he finally said, his voice a low growl. "This isn't about property. This is about keeping everyone together." I laughed. Not a warm laugh, but a sharp cutting sound that sliced through generations of unspoken expectations. Keeping everyone together? By systematically erasing one child's existence? My mother's tears came quickly, her default weapon of emotional manipulation. But this time they held no power. I had immunized myself against her performative grief. Sophia stepped forward, her perfectly curated life suddenly looking fragile. "Alex, why are you doing this? We're family." "Family." I repeated the word like a foreign concept. A word you've all weaponized to maintain control, to determine who matters and who doesn't. Each document I had prepared became a surgical instrument, dissecting our family's carefully constructed mythology. Tax records showing preferential treatment. Educational investment logs revealing systematic bias. Property transfer histories that exposed their long-planned betrayal. My uncle Roberto, usually the family peacemaker, looked uncomfortable. "There are ways to resolve this privately," he suggested. "No," I responded. "Privacy is how these injustices have been maintained for generations." The extended family watched, a mixture of horror and fascination etched on their faces. This was more than a dispute. This was a public deconstruction of our family's most deeply held illusions. My father's anger erupted. "You ungrateful," he started, but I cut him off. "Ungrateful." The word became a weapon. "I've been the most loyal, the most consistent. While Sophia received everything, I built my life with zero support, zero acknowledgement." Carlos, Sophia's husband, tried to intervene. "Maybe we can negotiate." "Negotiation happened years ago," I said, "when you all decided my worth without my knowledge." The property wasn't just land. It was a symbol of every unspoken betrayal, every marginalizing comment, every moment I was treated as less than. My mother's tears had transformed. No longer performative, they now seemed genuine. But genuine pain doesn't erase years of systematic emotional erasure. "I'm not asking for your approval," I declared. "I'm telling you how things will be, equally, fairly." Sophia's perfect facade began to crack. For the first time, I saw vulnerability in her eyes. Not manipulation, not entitlement, but genuine shock at being confronted with the family's hidden narrative. My father's generation had mastered the art of silence, of maintaining peace through calculated ignorance. I was dismantling that system, document by document, revelation by revelation. "This ends now," I said. The finality in my voice was absolute. The Rodriguez family mythology was collapsing, and I was the architect of its destruction, one calculated move at a time. The days following the confrontation were a landscape of profound silence. No phone calls, no messages. The Rodriguez family communication network, once so meticulously maintained, had completely collapsed. I wasn't seeking reconciliation, I was seeking transformation. My therapist, Dr. Martinez, helped me navigate the emotional aftermath. "Revenge is never just about the action," she reminded me. "It's about reclaiming your narrative." And I had reclaimed it, completely. The property remained a contested space, legally and emotionally. My strategic purchases and legal documentation meant Sophia's family could no longer simply take what they believed was rightfully theirs. Every assumption they had made about me, the quiet, compliant son, had been systematically dismantled. My professional life continued uninterrupted. If anything, the clarity I'd found in confronting my family translated into unprecedented professional success. The same meticulous planning I'd applied to my family situation became my greatest professional asset. Weeks turned into months. The initial shock transformed into a new kind of family dynamic. Not reconciliation, not war. Something more nuanced, a recognition. My parents attempted contact twice, careful, measured messages that suggested potential dialogue. But dialogue requires mutual respect, and respect was something we were still negotiating. Sophia sent a message that was part apology, part explanation. I read it once, then deleted it. Some wounds require more than words to heal. The inherited land, our grandparents' legacy, remained a powerful symbol, no longer a source of conflict, but a testament to complex family dynamics. I wasn't interested in ownership as much as I was interested in acknowledgement. My definition of family had fundamentally changed. No longer a network of obligatory relationships, but a conscious choice of mutual respect and genuine connection. Dr. Martinez helped me understand that my actions weren't about punishment. They were about establishing boundaries, about refusing to be the convenient, forgettable child. "You've rewritten your family story," she told me during one session, "not through destruction, but through self-respect." The tech world understood this language. Disruption isn't about demolition, it's about creating new systems that render old, broken systems obsolete. My parents would eventually understand, or they wouldn't. That was no longer my concern. I had learned the most important lesson. My worth was not determined by their recognition. My worth was self-defined. The Rodriguez family mythology had been permanently altered, and I was its primary architect. Not through anger, not through hatred, but through absolute, uncompromising self-respect.